Namaskar, sir. Am I audible? Am I audible, sir?
Pritika joined.
Sir, we are calling her. She is still facing some technical issues. I have her PPT with me, but we are just
Ma'am,
trying.
I can hear her. She is asking if she's audible or not.
Okay.
She's there, I guess.
I have not, but I did not accept any such address. By what
Pritika
name is
ma'am,
she there?
I don't know. I only heard her
Am I
voice.
audible
She was
now?
asking. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
here she is
I
asking
could
again.
also hear.
Mm.
Ma'am, by what name you are here? Okay, she's
Namaskar,
there.
sir. Am
Sir,
I
she is
audible
there.
now?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am,
you're
you are audible.
Pritika.
I'll
Pritika,
just
ma'am.
fix the problem. Am I audible? I'm not
Yes, ma'am.
getting a response. Am I audible or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Pritika ma'am, you are audible.
Hello. Okay, thank you so much. I'm not able to hear actually. Just 1 second. Am I clearly audible to everybody?
You are audible, but we cannot see you.
Now, am I audible and visible? Please let me know. I'm sorry for this glitch.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible
Okay,
and
ma'am.
visible also.
So I'm sharing my screen and I'm really thankful to sir for giving me this opportunity to present this important session. And also I apologize for the glitch that happened. So I'm going to start with a session on the designing of class 10th paper.
Just a
So
minute.
I'm
I
sharing,
was
sir, with
waiting
your
for.
due permission, may I share my screen?
I should say something about you. So, friends, today's session, design and development of question paper in science for class 10, will be conducted by Pritika Agrawal. Pritika Agrawal is PGT Biology in Bhavan's Vidyashram, Pratapnagar, and she's working there since 6 years. Basically, she's a researcher,
Okay.
and she's a researcher who's turned into the educator because she has a passion to work on the environment, children issues, and to help the needy people. So she is working with the people who are suffering from the Turner syndrome with the Turner Syndrome Foundation USA since the last 6 years. And she is also thinking to make Jaipur as a chapter soon. So the wonderful teacher, Pritika Agrawal, will share his
Yes,
insight,
sir.
share her insight about the design and development of question paper in science for class 10. So Pritika, here is your turn now.
Thank you so much, sir. I am sorry for the glitch that happened. I hope I am audible and visible clearly now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so just 1 second. I'm sharing my screen with your due permission. And I'm really thankful to you for giving me this opportunity. I hope my screen is visible to everybody.
No,
It's not.
we cannot see.
Just a minute, sir.
Now we can see you, but we cannot see your screen.
Screen. Okay, 1 second, sir. Now?
No. Now it is going to you.
Okay, sir. Okay, so just.
But double click so that we can see your screen. It
Yes,
is
sir, I have done, but no, something.
just starting screen sharing, but nothing is coming.
Yes, 1 second.
You
I'll
cannot
stop
see
it
anything.
and once again I'll start. Before the session, I was just checking, so everything was under control, and now something is happening. Should I leave and join again? I don't know.
That Tina will play PPT for you.
Yes, sir, I have the PPT. Let me try if I can share it. Ma'am, you can stop sharing. I'll try from my side.
Okay, I'm trying to stop share also, but
Has it gone in a hang mode, ma'am?
yeah, just I think now it's getting done.
Okay. Hmm.
Tina ma'am, I have clicked stop sharing, but I don't know whether it is like have I
That's
stopped?
okay, ma'am. I'm doing.
Okay, fine.
Is the screen visible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Ritika, ma'am, you can start. I'll be sharing the screen.
Yes, ma'am. Just a minute. Because it is hanged at my end, so I'm not able to see the screen.
Okay, in that case, then you'll have to leave and join back. If
Leave and
the
rejoin?
system has hanged, yes, I'll give you the re-entry.
Okay, 1 second. My screen is also not responding. I don't know somehow.
Ma'am, you need to leave and join back.
मित्रों ये तो आप सभी जानते ही
Now, please, madam, start.
Ritika, ma'am, you are there? I think so. She's joining back. She had left.
Okay, you start it. First slide.
Sir, this is okay, sir. I'll. Aditi ma'am, you can take over.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I've not seen the PDF. Tina, ma'am?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I've not seen the PDF. Like, I don't know what is the next slide.
Okay.
Tina,
Yes,
ma'am,
sir.
you play the slide. I'll discuss.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay. The slides are on the screen only, sir. I'll start doing it. This is design and development of question paper for class 10 science.
Next slide.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, friends, waiting for Pritika to join. Till then, we'll start something about the design and development of question paper. So, the word is having two things. The one is design and second is development of question paper in science. When we talk about the design, it means we are focusing on the structure of question paper, that whatever questions are coming, is it short, very short answer, long answer, is it knowledge, understanding, application, or whatever questions are coming. So you might have seen that every year CBSE used to issue one blueprint of the question paper. In fact, it is 3 in 1. One is blueprint, second is question paper, and third is evaluation scheme. So all these three go hand in hand. So here, what we are discussing is, first is design, second is development of question paper. So there are many terms that you feel that they are coming here. And the terms you might have read in the Bloom's taxonomy, you might have seen in the learning objective, because whenever we are talking about this particular topic, we are talking about so many things in between the lines. So the whole question paper now is different from the old question paper. If you might be that some of you have attempted that 10 questions are there, only 5 has to be done. But slowly and slowly, CBSE has shifted to the different type of questions. Now we have a 21st century type of question paper. Different skills are there which are to be evaluated.
Sir, I'm so sorry because of this is happening here. Okay. Now,
Okay.
finally, I'm starting with my presentation. I hope now I am audible and visible. I'm audible and visible to everybody?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, I'm sorry for the glitch that happened. So let's move to the first slide. Today I'm going to present this presentation is about the designing of class 10th science paper. So as we can see that designing is not that as easy as we use the term, designing something simply. So designing of the paper takes a lot of efforts and a lot of things have to be kept in mind. So what all do we need to keep in mind, and what are the type of questions? What is the curriculum? So let us discuss. So here, so this is the introduction, and then come to the objective. So what is the objective of designing the class 10 science paper? Why do we design, or why do we take the exam? Is to assess the understanding of the evaluate the students for their understanding, and to promote critical thinking amongst them, to develop scientific skills, and to test the logical reasoning skills of the students. So overall, like earlier, it used to be quite a theoretical paper and the content used to be just mugged up and that was assessed. But as like with time, we are changing the pattern of the exam also, and it is more competency based and it assesses the actual understanding of the children rather than just testing the mugging up power. So now, so what are the principles of effective question paper designing? So as we can see that these important principles are mentioned here, that when we design the paper, the question should be very clear and they should be unambiguous, ensuring that the students understand exactly what is being asked. So if we ask ambiguous questions, or if the question is not clear to them, so in that case, we cannot expect clear answers. But then even after knowing the answer, the student might not be able to answer properly. And then the relevance. The question must be directly related to the syllabus and learning objectives of the curriculum. Then similarly, it should be a valid question paper. That means it should accurately measure the skills and knowledge it intends to assess. So it should be a balanced mix of question which should align with the learning outcomes. So as the CBSE has defined a lot of learning outcomes, so we should be able to assess them properly. Then coming to the curriculum for class 10 science, as we all know that the curriculum is designed like it is distributed amongst three subjects: chemistry, biology, and physics. So in the chemistry, we have these chapters: chemical reactions, acids, bases, and salts, metals, non-metals, carbon and its compounds. In biology, we have life processes, control, coordination, animals and plants, reproduction, heredity and evolution, out of which this evolution part has been deleted totally, and then our environment. In physics, we have these chapters: light, reflection and refraction, the human eye, the colorful world, electricity, magnetic effects of electric current. So these are the topics that we have. Now the next step which we need to follow, or the basic step which needs to be followed for designing of the question paper, is to prepare the blueprint of the question paper. So the blueprint, what exactly do we mean by the blueprint is that it shows how the paper will be organized and what all topics would be included. So it should be like it should adhere to all the outlines. What are the different categories in which we are assessing the students? For example, the multiple choice questions, the short answer, long answer questions. So when we plan a blueprint properly, we are able to create a balanced paper, and we are able to assess them very clearly. And then according to this, we can guide them further for improvement. So this is a basic objective of paper design, blueprint designing. Now, coming to the type of questions which are asked, as I already mentioned, that there are a variety of questions which are designed to assess various capabilities, various understanding levels of the students. So they may fall into these categories: very short answer type questions, and in which they are like these days we are changing the pattern, and the questions which are asked are of varied varieties. If now in earlier days we used to directly ask them define or differentiate, so nowadays we do not ask direct questions, but they are to assess their understanding. So we designing them in such a way that the student has to understand it first before answering. So there are a variety of questions like reasoning, assertion reasoning, and then short answer, long answer type of questions. One important category is this, the case-based or the source-based questions. So in this question, we assess the higher order thinking skills of the students and real life applications, and the cross-disciplinary understanding of science is also required to answer these questions. Talking about the exam pattern, if we talk about the unit-wise weightage of the science stream, so we find that unit-wise we have this first unit, chemical substances. This carries 25 marks. The world of living, that is basically the biology part, the life processes, control, coordination, reproduction, and our environment, this carries 25 marks. The natural phenomena, that is the physics part, basically effects of current, natural resources, they all are subdivided into 12 marks, 13 marks and 5 marks. So the total weightage of this examination paper, the theory paper, is 80 marks. And then, as we all know, internal marks, they carry 20 marks. So in all, the total comes to 100. Now, when we talk about the theory paper design, we have to keep in mind these things, that there are certain competencies which we are assessing. So when we talk about the competencies, the first category is the demonstrate the knowledge and understanding of the concepts. For that, we have kept, the CBSE has assigned 46% marks. The application of knowledge or concepts, they have been assigned 22 marks. And the formulae like analyzing, evaluating and creating, they in all they carry 32 marks, which sums up to total 100%. Then when we talk about the internal assessment design, we can see that the periodic assessments that we take, PT1s and PT2s, they carry 5 plus 5 marks. The subject enrichment activities in each session, we assign SEA1 and SEA2, we get 5 marks. And the portfolio, again, it has 5 marks. Plus the MA, multiple assessment, is also there, which carries 5 marks again. So in all, it is like that. Then how do we frame the high quality questions, or what is the correct way, or what things have to be kept in mind? So first thing is clear instruction. After some time, like after I present this, I'll be sharing a few examples, and we will also be performing one activity which will clarify more, like how do we design the questions, what is the exact way, and what flaws can we make while designing the questions. So the first thing which we need to keep in mind is that the instructions given to the students, they should be very, very clear, very specific, because like very often on we get to hear from the students that they are confused, especially in the assertion reason type of questions. So when they are very closely related, the assertion reason, or they are totally unrelated, so they are not able to make out what to do, how to write the correct answer, how to select the correct answer. So the instructions should be clear, they should be very specific, the questions should be specific, focusing on a particular concept of skill, avoiding the vague or broad inquiries. Like it should not be a question which involves a lot of aspects together. In that case, the framing of question would also be, it should have some flaws, and it would become very difficult for the students to answer such questions. So I would like to mention here that since I was working on this designing of question paper, today in my actual class 10th, I asked the students about their suggestions as to what all would they like CBSE to incorporate, or what type of changes they think the CBSE should bring to assess the science paper. So I got a lot of feedback from the children, and in due course of time, I would really like to share the feedback with sir and with the other science teachers. So I'll discuss it with sir how we can do that. And I think it should be like we all can do this activity, and it would be a fruitful activity which would help students in improving their performance ultimately. Then coming to the next thing, that is how do we align the questions with curriculum and goals. So for this we need to be very thorough with the curriculum. We have to be very specific about the deleted topics, the included topics, weightage of marks and everything. And then we should design the concepts. Then second should be objective mapping. Like each question should be mapped to specify the learning objectives and to ensure that it aligns with the curriculum goals. For example, we want to assess their knowledge, or we are trying to assess their thinking abilities, or we are trying to assess their creativity. So the objective of the question should be very, very clear. Then similarly, the content coverage, that while we are designing the paper, we should be very confident that we have covered all the topics of the syllabus to be assessed. Okay, yes, next slide, Tilaram. Okay, I think the previous slide we have missed. Can you please move to the previous slide? Yeah. Yes. So now there is another thing which has to be kept in mind, that we should incorporate the appropriate difficulty levels of the questions. So like these days we are giving 3 sets of science papers. So we should keep in mind that it should not happen that one set is totally easy, another one is very difficult, and maybe one of them is very like mediocre. All of them should be a balanced paper which should have all the types of question levels, easy, medium, and difficult, in a proper balanced way. Yes, ma'am. Next slide, please. Okay, then, so these things again have to be kept in mind, that the type of questions, then the mark allocation. This is also a very, very important aspect. At times, like we frame correct questions, but then the allocation of marks is not appropriate at times. We might allot a 2 mark question to a question which have content like which is appropriate for a 3 mark question. So we have to keep this in mind very clearly, that while we are allotting the marks allotted should be in alignment to the content which is being asked. Then time management should be proper for the students. Like the students should be able to finish off the paper within time. And then the cognitive level. This should not happen that, there are a lot of questions which require a lot of thinking. So they are not able to finish their time. So this should be balanced so that they're able to manage their time properly. And then the presentation of the paper should be very, very good, that the question paper should cover all the key topics and learning objectives. So this is just a funny meme that, at times this happens with the students, that they're not able to understand the very first question of their exam. So what happens, what are their expressions? They appear something like this. So this was on a lighter note. Okay, so like while designing the paper, again, ma'am, we can move to the next slide. I've covered this. Okay, Tina ma'am, please stop for a second. Can you please stop sharing? Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so now I would like to share the exact curriculum, like what is the exact curriculum of the CBSE. And there are a lot of sites, like I don't know whether we keep on visiting these sites or no, but then there are a lot of sites which help us in making the question papers, and they guide us exactly how can we make good papers. There are a lot of sample papers in them. So one second, please. Okay, so this is actually the site of CBSE, and they have created a lot of questions. Like this is about the competency based questions. If we scroll this, like we can see this on our CBSE website, the cbsc.nic.in. So they have a lot of content chapter wise. So from here we can pick up the questions. As you can see, for example, if we come to the first chapter, first multiple question or choice question type of questions. So these are about the different types of questions which are already available on the website of CBSE. They have a variety of questions, the free response questions or the subjective questions carrying different marks topic wise. And like for our benefit, they have also provided the marking scheme for each of them. So it's a very good resource to pick the questions and frame them. For example, in the next chapter, like carbon compounds, if we see, So they have see these different types of questions, combustion analysis of compounded. So this question is very relevant to 2 marks because it has got 2 parts. So it's very, very clear that each part carries 1 mark. So student can answer accordingly. At times we find, in question in during the exams, we find students asking questions. Ma'am, kitna likhna hai? Ma'am, how much do we need to write? So if we specify questions like this, so they are very clear that there are 2 points, so 1 mark each, so I have to write accordingly. So this is about the types of questions. Then coming to the, one second, the curriculum, if we talk about, the curriculum is this. We have to be very careful about the deleted topics because often on CBSE has been making a lot of changes in the syllabus. So this we have already discussed, the marks distribution. These are the topics which are covered, the chemical substances. So these are the subtopics which the CBSE has mentioned, acids, bases and salts. I hope like many of us, all of us have this curriculum very clearly with us. The latest curriculum is available on the site, and there are, like, besides the paper, there are certain practicals also which are included in the syllabus. So for a better understanding, we need to take care that the students are also taught these topics, these shown these practicals. Then if we talk about sample paper and the marking scheme, so the latest sample question paper of class 10th is this. So here we can see that this is very, very important part. The instruction part is very, very important, so that this tells us that what percentage of the questions have internal choice and what are the different variety of questions that we need to incorporate. So like, first, these are the general instructions, and like section A, it has 16 simple or complex MCQs. Why has the CBSE mentioned this term simple oblique complex? Because some of the questions, they require a lot of understanding, analyzing, and then answering the question. So it's not just a simple MCQ that you pick up the direct answer and answer. You have to think a lot before answering to the question. So 16 MCQs are there and 4 assertion reason type of questions carrying 1 mark each. These are there. Now assertion reasoning type of questions, I have, like, even like many of us have found that these appear to be a little bit difficult for the students to appear. So they have to be practiced a lot in the classes by doing. Then coming to the next instruction, that section B, it has 6 short answer type questions which carry 2 mark each. And then section C has 7 short answer type questions carrying 3 marks. Section D has 3 long answer type questions carrying 5 marks. And section E has 3 case-based or the source-based questions, in which generally there are subparts. So like, what happens is, generally these type of questions, in this they give a diagram, so it is generally diagram based, or they may give us condition to the students and then ask them to analyze and answer the questions. So I hope this is, the pattern of the paper is clear to everybody. The curriculum and the pattern is clear to everybody. So this is section A. As we can see, the MCQs. First 16 will be the MCQs. So if we randomly pick up some questions, say this question 15, identify the incorrect statement. Now generally what mistake the students commit is that they, while answering such questions, they reach first, second or the third option. They do not even bother to read the fourth option and they are in a hurry to answer the question. So we have to tell this in class that they need to read all the 4 options before giving the correct answer. So as we can see, these are the multiple choice questions, and they are also not very direct questions. Then these are the assertion reasoning type of questions. A convex mirror always forms an image behind it, and the image formed is virtual. So the student should be able to answer, he should be thorough with the concept, whether it is like what is the position of the image, whether it is virtual, whether it is erect, or whether it is diminished, what kind of image would be formed. Then, according to the sign convention, the focal length of a convex mirror is positive. So now, in the assertion reason type of questions, generally what happens is that the students are able to make out whether or not the two independent statements are correct or wrong. But they are not able to judge whether they are related or they are not related. So for this purpose, we need to give them a lot of practice again. So this is the paper which has been published on the site of CBSE 24-25. So this comes like it's a picture based pictorial question. And then this is again. So as we can see that earlier the papers used to be very, very theoretical. What, why, when, and then differentiate, define. But now we have a plethora of questions incorporating various skills amongst the students. And see, this has also been mentioned that wherever it's a question of seeing, so since a visually impaired student cannot see, so they will give them a choice of question which does not require any seeing and answering the question. So I hope till here everything is clear to everybody. If in case somebody has a doubt, the questions are still welcome. Okay. So then let us also take a glimpse to like what is the marking scheme that the CBSE has issued. So just a minute. This is the marking scheme. So in the marking scheme also, like from the marking scheme also, we can make out that the questions which are asked, they are very, very to the point, so that the answers which are framed can be very clear. There is no ambiguity and there is no confusion between two choices. So let us go through the marking scheme once. So this is the marking scheme. MCQ marking scheme does not hold much importance. We should go to the subjective answers. How are they answered? So here, so see, like the question should be such that each part or each answer which the student gives should carry some weightage, and it should be an equal distribution of the weightage of the questions. So for each sentence that the student is writing, he is getting a specific number of marks. So this has to be very, very clear. Now here we see a 2-mark question, and then we see this table. So we might be asked to give, 2 blanks which needed to be filled by the students, or 4 blanks which can be 1/4 mark each. So it has to be very, very clear. The specifications should be very clear. So as we can see, the marking schemes, they are very, very specific, each part carrying a particular number, a particular mark. So there is no chance of discrepancy while checking the answers. Have I made myself very clear till here? Is there any question? Okay, so I just wanted to share one more thing. This is a site of CBSE. The CBSE site, I'm sorry. Now there are a few like this is a meme which I found, like the teachers at times they give instructions to the students. It is quite relevant to the topic which we are discussing, so I thought of including this, that the teacher is instructing the students, I expect you all to be independent, innovative and critical thinkers who will do exactly as I say. So can anybody tell me, is there any discrepancy in the instruction?
Yes, ma'am, definitely. It's a controversial statement that you want the students to be innovative and independent, and then at the same time, you want them to do what you are
It
instructing.
is, yes.
Yes.
So we should not be like this. Okay, so we should exactly not be like this. So when we go to the CBSE site, we find a lot of things like many of us don't even know the type of innovative resources the CBSE is creating these days. So I would like to share. Tina ma'am, can you please present again?
Okay, ma'am, give me a minute.
We are left with a few slides, so can you please? Yeah. So I thought of incorporating this, that we are only talking about the framing of the question paper, and there are like a lot of things or a lot of interactive ways in which we can teach the concepts to the children. So I just thought of sharing this. Can you please play the video, ma'am? Okay, so it's a sort of an interactive game where the students have to select protons, neutrons, and electrons. Is it playing or is it paused, ma'am?
It's playing, ma'am.
It's playing. Okay. So they have to, like, whatever symbol we give. So they have to select how many protons will be there, how many electrons will be there, how many neutrons will be there. So this in these such interactive games, they give an opportunity to the children to learn more and to be attentive in the class. So rather than just being very theoretical, we can incorporate these activities in our classes. Yes, ma'am. Please move to the next slide. Okay, so with the help of this, we can help them to nail the examination. This is what the slide is depicting. We have one more, Tina ma'am. Okay, so any questions still here are welcome. If anybody has to ask something. Okay, ma'am, you can stop sharing, please. Yeah, now coming back to, like, I have an interactive activity to be shared. Okay, so this represents the student's mindset that when they plan for their exam, plan A is full syllabus. Then when they're for short of time, they say that let us revise only the important topics. Plan C is only the important question. And when they still fail, they come to only praying is left. So it's just on a lighter side. Now, so these are some important terms which the CBSE mentions. For example, when we want to assess the knowledge of the students, we have to take these words into consideration: define or identify, indicate. So these are the terms which need to be taken into, like while framing the question. When we want to assess their comprehension, these are the topics. When we want to assess their application, we need to use these terms: interpret, investigate, operate, organize the terms. For example, we might give them a jumbled sequence of sentences, and then we might tell them to organize the sentence in a proper sequence. Then for the analysis, we might tell them to appraise or to calculate, for example, the physics questions, maybe to categorize. These are the questions. When we want to see what kind of like synthesis of Like we may give them to design an activity or design an experiment. So in that case, we may give them these terms: construct the activity, compose, or to create, design of an experiment.
Ma'am, are you presenting something?
Pardon,
Because,
ma'am?
ma'am, are you presenting something? Because we are not able to see anything on the screen other than you. If you
Oh,
are referring to something, then we
yes,
are
yes,
not
I
able
was
to see
referring
that.
to, and I thought it's being
No,
presented.
ma'am, it's not presented.
1 minute, ma'am. Now is it visible?
Just starting with the screen, still not visible, but it is on the starting mode. Yes, now it's there, ma'am.
Okay. So these were the terms which I was talking about while we talk about knowledge, comprehension, and application, analysis, synthesis, and then evaluation. So these are the different pedagogies on the basis of which we can assess the students. Next, coming to just a minute. Okay. Now there are certain type of questions which is very important to discuss while framing of question paper. The free response questions or the open response items. So these are so named because there are often more than one way to correctly answer the question. So here they require the students to construct or develop their own answers without the benefit of any suggestion. So they are very quite open-ended. So they may be better for testing the students' ability to analyze the problems. So we'll see a few examples. For example, in the short answer type of questions, we have this question, say, 8 identical iron blocks are placed on the ground in 2 arrangements X and Y. And the block arrangements are kept moist by sprinkling water every few hours. Now we are talking about rust here. So which of the arrangement is likely to gather more rust after 10 days? And then we have to justify the answer. So in this case, as we can see, as we can comprehend, we have to take into consideration the surface area of the block. So why it has a larger surface area exposed to air? So it has a greater chance of getting rusted in 10 days. So this is a short answer type of question, and where the student has to think and analyze before answering. Another short response question may be like, these are the practices which we need to keep in mind. The expected answer should be proportionate to the allotted score. Okay, as I told earlier also, that it should not happen that the question carries 3 marks and the content which is appropriate is as per 4 marks. So we have to keep in mind. Then the task should be clear and concise for the students to understand. They should not get confused as to what has to be done in the question. Then about the case-based questions, which are very popular to judge or analyze their understanding. The context may be unfamiliar, but the content being tested should be known. For example, if I taught a topic in the class, say I've taught about digestion, and if I give them a picture which is depicting an organism which might not be there in the NCRT, but the student has to know the concept of what are the processes or what are the steps of digestion. So this has to be very clear. Then the use of authentic context as much as possible, and the source, it should be very clear. Then the questions should be based on the context provided. So this should not happen that we are giving some other paragraph and we are asking questions which are unrelated to the paragraph. That should be very clear. Now we can perform a small activity here. So in this activity, what we are supposed to do, I'll be sharing a question with you, and you have to judge or you have to allot marks to it. Whether the type of question it deserves a 0 mark or a 1 mark or 2 mark to the teacher for the type of question which has been framed. So let us do this activity. Okay, so here is the question. Yeast is a fungus that reproduces rapidly and processes up to a lot of oxygen required to maintain it. Now, there are two subparts. What is the most likely products of respiration in this case? And second, What is the intermediate compound broken down to produce the chemicals named in A? So you have to state the number of carbon molecules that this compound has. Now, can somebody please unmute and let me know what are the marks that this question deserves? If we judge it on a scale of 0 to 2, how much marks does framing of this question deserve? Is it 0 or 1 or 2?
According to me, it is 2.
It's 2. Like you find that it carries a whole 2 out of 2. It's a perfect question.
What is the most likely? First part, 1 mark we can get.
Yes, ma'am.
The second part, half of for each question. According to me.
Actually, ma'am, if we refer to like here itself, it has been mentioned that there is an ambiguity in the question because in the part B, the student is not clear about what has to be answered. What is the intermediate compound broken down to produce the chemicals named in A? This is one question. Side by side, they are also asking, state the number of carbon molecules that this compound has. So, like for a 0.5 mark distribution, it's not very, very clear like what has to be answered. So we can allot not 0, neither 2, but we can give a 1 mark out of 2 to this question. Sir, am I right or should I need to correct myself?
Carry on. It is your session.
Okay. Any other answer? Anybody else would like to judge the question on the basis of its framing? So should we give it a 1 or does it deserve a 2 or a 0? Okay, so this was one, and then there is another type of question, activity review. So why do chips manufacturers flush bags of chips with nitrogen? Now, here again, this has been taken from the textbook. So it seems as if it's a real life application because in every household the children eat chips. But because it is taken directly from the textbook, it is basically a recall type of a question. They need not analyze, they remember it directly that this was given in the book. So I have to answer it like this. So at times this happens that when we are categorizing, we need to judge what type of a question and what pedagogy aspect are we analyzing. So now again, this is a question review. 2 black fur mice are bred and have the litter shown below. So here we can see the white colored mouse. Now, what is the most likely explanation for the presence of the white fur offspring? Now, in this question, it was not mentioned whether, what is the phenotype of the parents. If they tell us the phenotype, then only we would be able to answer. If it is not mentioned, then it's difficult to answer the question. So that makes it a bit problematic. Instead of this, if we frame the question like this, what is the most likely explanation of the presence of white fur offspring? And we mention this. One of the parent is heterozygous, both the parents are heterozygous, or a mutation has occurred, or the parent's fur color has no influence on the offspring's fur color. So if we mention these points, then probably the child would be able to answer it very clearly. So Tina ma'am, now you can share the slide with a thank you, finally.
Okay, ma'am.
So this was all I had to share about the designing of the question paper. And thank you so much for attending the session. Any kind of reviews or any kind of questions or any kind of suggestions are most welcome. Sir, do I need to improve or did I need to incorporate any other point which I've skipped?
So you have well explained.
Yes, sir. So this was about my presentation.
Thank you so much.
Anybody who wants to ask a question?
Am I not audible?
Thank you so much, Pritika ma'am. Any questions from any side? Any teacher wants to ask any question? Okay. With your permission, sir, I would like to invite Aditi ma'am for formal vote of thanks for Pritika ma'am.
Please.
Okay.
Namaskar, everyone. On behalf of Bharati Vidya Bhavan Vidyashram, I, Aditi Saxena, I'm truly honored to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Sri Anil Sharma, sir, who has provided us this platform to enhance our skills. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank Pritika ma'am for conducting such an enlightening workshop. Your insight and expertise have significantly enriched our understanding and teaching methodology. Your presentation was not only informative, but also inspiring. We appreciate the time and effort you dedicate in making this workshop a success. Your enthusiasm and passion for science education were evident and have left a lasting impact on all of us. Thank you once again for sharing your knowledge and for your invaluable contribution to our professional development. We look forward to implement such techniques in our classroom and witness the positive outcomes they will bring. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aditi ma'am.
Thank
Sir, we
you,
would
ma'am.
like to have your feedback also for Pritika ma'am. And sir. Sir, you're not audible.
Sir is on mute mode, no, I think.
Okay.
Tina ma'am, sir is on mute.
Let me check. Sir. Sir, we would like to take some feedback from you. And after that, permission to formally close the session. No, sir, is
He's left the meeting, is it? See, I think he's left the meeting. Let us wait. I don't know whether he might have mistakenly left or should I make a call to him, Tina ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Just permission from him to
Yeah,
formally
one second,
close the
please.
meeting. Yes.
I'm trying, but sir's call is not being responded. Just 1 minute. Tina ma'am, sir's call is not getting responded. So
I think then we can formally close the meeting?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.